For this video, I'm going to be talking about Ginger Snaps 2 Unleashed. This, of course, is a sequel to the 2000 werewolf film Ginger Snaps, which is a great werewolf film, a great Canadian werewolf film. And this is a very good sequel, actually. It picks up where the original left off, but it doesn't rehash any of the stuff from the original movie, so we're not seeing the same thing over again. So, I mean, with Ginger Snaps, it was kind of a unique take on the werewolf film, where it is pretty much like it's a gradual transformation. It's like a virus, turning this normal teenage girl, well, somewhat normal teenage girl, into a werewolf, which takes the whole movie until the climax at the end. So this takes that idea, but it shows it in kind of a different way. Where with the first movie, you know, it was kind of a sort of like a fable about puberty and things like that. This one kind of takes, in a strange way, like a story about drug addiction almost, where the character isn't necessarily addicted to drugs, but it welcomes that kind of allegory interpretation or so, because we have Bridget from the first film, played by Emily Perkins, who is infected with the curse of the werewolf. So she knows she's changing, so she's doing all she can to prevent that, to at least try to delay it as much as she can. So she's taking these injections of this concentrated herb that will delay it, and she's even bloodletting herself to prevent it. And so they think she's a junkie. They bring her into rehab, where it's kind of like an intermingled rehab with trauma victims as well, things like that. So there's a mixed bunch in there. So that's where most of the movie takes place, in this institution, where no one believes her, obviously, that she's infected with a werewolf, and it's stuff like that. And I think it's played out really well. There's interesting characters in the movie. Like one character who I found really just teeth grinding was Ghost, the little girl who's somehow allowed to be in this facility because her grandma's a burn victim. Not that she's a bad actress, the girl who plays her, but just the girl is just so horrible, and she does horrible things, and you just want to wring her little neck. But she almost becomes sort of like a companion, a friend for Bridget, because no one else will believe her, but she believes her. She believes in werewolves and in that kind of lore. So it kind of turns into that as well. Like, so maybe like the first 2/3 of the movie, it is in the ward, but the next takes place where they're hiding out, basically, and all the things that happen there. So once again, there are good werewolf effects, and once again, we don't see the wolf until the very end, because during the whole movie there is a new wolf out there that is after Bridget, not to kill her, but wants to mate with her. Try not to visualize that, but it's again all about her trying to cure herself, trying to get out of this place and get the help that she needs, but becomes a pretty dire situation, becomes a pretty hopeless situation. So I thought it was pretty good sequel. I thought just different enough, but kind of keeps the same stuff to the original. Katharine Isabelle is back, even though obviously, spoiler alert, she died in the first movie because she was turned into a werewolf. She's back as kind of like a ghost who's kind of taunting Bridget and giving her point of view from a werewolf, like, oh, she's sniffing the one guy. She's like, oh, one day you want to fuck him, the next day you want to tear out his jugular, and that kind of stuff, taunting her, basically. And so I thought all that was really well done, and has a Canadian charm to it, which I like. So I'm proud that these great werewolf movies came from Canada. Emily Perkins, very good in the role. You really buy her real drive to try and stop this, her desperation. You really buy that. So she's really good in the role, and just general good acting all around. Like, I first saw it a little bit after it first came out. I hadn't watched it again until recently. What I noticed in the opening credits was Tatiana Maslany is in this movie, from Orphan Black. I was looking out for her the whole movie. I'm like, who could she be? She could be anybody in this movie. She's such a master of disguise. So I was like, is she that one punk rocker girl in the support group? she's not the Asian girl. Well, maybe. Who is she? Her? Is she her? I couldn't quite spot her. So then maybe halfway through the movie, I like pulled up IMDb on my app or whatever and searched it. She's Ghost. She's the little fucking girl who I hate in the movie. So that was funny. But Tatiana Maslany got her start off in a werewolf movie and Ginger Snaps 2 Unleashed, which is pretty cool. So that's something, I think. But yeah, this is a good sequel. Very worthy follow-up to the original film. I don't think it's quite as good, but it's very different. So I think that's something to appreciate, that it's not like a rehash or anything. It continues the story, goes for a different vibe, and it does have scary moments to it and very unique moments to it that kind of made the first movie so good as well. And the ending is a punch in the gut. The ending pisses me off, but I guess in a good way. So I'm curious to see where this movie or where this series may go. They had a third one, but it was a prequel, so I'd like to see if the story continues in some way. So that'd be interesting to see. But anyway, Ginger Snaps 2, great werewolf movie, a great sequel, lots of fun, good effects, good acting, and I think it's a very good follow-up to the original. So that's all I really have to say about Ginger Snaps 2. Well worth a watch if you haven't already. Very, very good movie. So that'll be it for today. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more reviews in the future.